What's up, guys? Your boy Rooster here, coming to you from Rooster's Nest. I have a very special guest. We're doing a little something because we didn't get time to do this on site. We're doing it here in our own homes. So today I have Hale. He's the man behind ComCam and a few other productions you've seen over the last few years and even longer. We just kind of want to give you guys a little explanation of who he is, how we've teamed up, and why, and maybe what to expect from us in the future. So without further ado, I'm going to toss it over to my man. Hell yeah.
Well, thank you for that, Rooster. That was a great intro. I feel very honored to be here on Rooster's Nest in front of a camera, which I'm definitely not used to doing at all. Um, but yeah, hell yeah. So Comcam's been a thing for 2 years, and it's crazy because that's really been, it's been a breeze. Um, Even for where it started at, I changed the name to Comcam Airsoft earlier. I would want to say like earlier this year actually, and so it's been Hell Yeah Airsoft. Hell Yeah Airsoft is expanded so much. When I started, it was simple, the regular GoPro footage, the first person, and then I started moving into like even trying to get, I guess, into different angles. So I ended up using 360 cameras before. Had a 360 shoulder camera, all Insta 360 because that's what I like, but no plug to them.
Not
But
a
like
sponsor.
it started with them, it started with like those two cameras and then even expanding. And what ended up happening is I remember it was at a Serious Viking. I was running with Romeo Airsoft, and he was talking and was like, he said, it'd be cool to get this from like a different, like it would be cool just to record this.
Hmm.
And it was crazy he was talking about that because when I saw press already, and then when I was seeing like just the people on the field, me being private service, me being a veteran, like I it was like this connection that kind of happened. It was like holy crap! It was really there's this MOS. Their whole
Hmm.
purpose is to run out in this kind of environment. Like their whole purpose is just to take photos or record. Stuff's happening behind them, and they're just there, and that's what they do. And it
It
was almost
reminds me
like
of like being airborne. People would always ask me like, "Why would you want to jump out of a perfectly good plane?" And I think about that about combat photographers. Like, why would you not want to be there actually shooting and fighting with infantry?
yeah, it it's so crazy. It's like so you're hold on, so they're shooting you just like did I get the shot right?
Right?
Like you got to be calm, you can't be shaky hand and all that. And so it's like just thinking about that, it made me want to do it more, and I started looking into it. I already had like a camera. I had a Canon T7, and so I was barely using it anyways. And it was like, shoot, man, you're not using it. Airsoft guns cost around the same price. If you crack it, you just get a new one.
The
Put it,
kit
and then I
lens. Yeah.
found out you can actually put it on your renter's insurance at the time or homeowner's insurance. So now it's like, just put a deductible out.
It's a
But at the end of
win-win.
the day, it's like, you spend this kind of money on airsoft equipment all the time. So the worst case scenario, you have to do it for a camera that
Right.
you're barely using. And so after thinking about that, it was like, forget it, man. I'm gonna run out with it. And it's funny too because people always like, oh my gosh, you're running out with your camera. Like you ain't got a vest on. You're running out with your camera. I'm
Right.
like, bro, if only you knew how like, it does sound that intense, but when you're in it, it's not as crazy as you think. Like
Right.
I started asking people like, how many times your rifle got shot? Like I don't remember. I'm like, exactly, bro. This is in my hand. You think I'm not supposed to be out there like this and just recording? I still have the responsibility to the bigger responsibility, right? To not be a liability to whoever I'm with, like as far as unit
Right.
wise, because I'm not supposed to be in your way. I'm and I'm not supposed to be a worry to you. I have people say like,
Right.
"Oh man, we gotta protect the cameraman." No, you don't. I'm good.
Nope.
I got my
More
rifle in case
times
some
than any,
stuff happen.
the cameraman will actually protect you. You know.
Yeah, man, the cameraman do some work. I started getting more into understanding. It became like this. It was like a real immersive experience. The more I started getting into it, because it's like you had to create these own rules kind of behind it too. Like I bought regular rifleman tickets and played as comcam
Mhm.
and really focused on comcam. And there's been times where I ain't shot at all. Like I still have my rifle and everything,
Yep.
and I ain't shoot at all. And it's like there's the part of like know your position and do it, and then almost like the adrenaline of like, oh shoot, is it, should I, is it that bad? Nope, it's not. Then you always
Right.
get those moments where you know you have to do something. That's even funner because it's like they ain't know what was coming to them. Like switch over,
Yep.
hit them, go back. Um, but yeah, Comcam 2 years. You know,
I had a lot
grown.
of that happen at Thunderdome. Speaking of all that, like I went in to really try to just be more comcam. I was armed, and there were times when I would see guys just kind of like, not really, they weren't really cohesive, and I would just get frustrated with seeing the other team just kind of hammer them down, and so I would go in for a kill and get the kill. So when we're supporting other people, that's what I meant by that. It was like, we might have helped a major effort around a corner that they don't realize that was us that got them to that point because they weren't doing it well enough, or they were just scatterbrained basically. So it's just one
Yeah,
of those instances. Grenade kills, stuff like that. It's like you see them like trying to drive a nail with a pair of pliers, and I'm like, dude, take in a hammer, boom, nail's done.
I mean, there's times where you know you have to. I always say like you know clocking into those kind of roles. Like there was a moment at Bone Crusher where I was recording them the whole time and they were stuck. Like it was just they couldn't get past this area. And I used to be a squad leader before. I also was a XO for one. I think yeah was maybe it was Bone. Was
I
it Bone
mean, look at
Crusher?
all those patches on the wall, dude. It's kind of hard to remember every little
Yeah,
thing.
man, it really is because so many events be happening. It's like, yeah, I think it was Bone Crusher, but I was XO before, and even with that, like it was a like leadership moment kicks in, and there's always these parts that always happens before I even get into it. There's a lot that happens when it comes to being calm,
Hmm.
just calculation wise, because there is the part of you that says, do I get into this? Do I speak up? Do I help out? Do I, like all that part while you're recording because you're like, I'm not supposed to
Oh,
do nothing. I'm not supposed to, uh, man, they are running into, they're about to get fucked up.
I have to apologize for Six Flags. That exact example. Or it was like, come on, guys, if you all just run, if every one of you go at once, they can't kill you all. And like 15 dudes ran out into a barrage of bullets and all died.
I had times like that, I've had times where I still told them to push. And it's like, you gotta tell them sometimes, like, yo, man, I'll walk with you. There's a time in at Thunderdome, one of the Thunderdomes, I was walking with these guys and like it was just pinned down. I'm like, dude, look, keep y'all guns up, aim down, trust your purses to your left or right, aim at your sectors and just move. Move. Look, I'm gonna walk with my
Just
camera.
do it.
Move. Like it's so like
Yep.
those times happen, right? And even with this was one of those moments where I had, I had to think like, okay, do I engage in with these people and tell them what they could do better? Do I take, almost like a leadership role in a way and start directing traffic because I'm supposed to be on the camera. So next thing you know, I'm like, whoop, swap this, drop this down. All right, look, I need y'all to do this, split it off, hit this flank,
Attack team, move in!
start suppressing this area, push
Keep
up,
suppressing the
and it's
field!
like
Attack
while
team,
I'm doing
move!
this in my head, I'm like, I wish I was recording this, but I can't. I can't record the
Right.
greatness that's happened. Like my job just it is like you get to one of the points was like, man, it has to happen that way sometimes. Like because it's not
I
that
think that's what makes ComCam fun, though, because we're actively playing a player role while we're trying to provide this cool footage, too, right? I mean, I got to do that at Bone Crusher. I was yelling at guys, sending them up the hill as we were over the valley area there, as NATO came down the valley. So I was doing both roles at the same time. It was really cool. It brings a whole new perspective and level to the game. But then there was also a worry of, am I not leading well enough? Am I not able to focus on the team enough because I'm focusing too much on the camera stuff? But you got to find a good balance, you know.
I mean, it makes it easier. Like me, I mean, Comcam, I just attach to a unit, so I'm
Yep.
never leading. I don't even try to lead. Like most of the time, even now, I'm still perfecting. Like I guess, well, I would say we're perfecting, right? Because now this went from like an individual type base where I create my own system to how do you really create a Comcam unit type, system, SOPs and all that, right? And
Hmm.
so still working on like getting that perfect perfection, but for the most part, I go dumb. Like I find a unit and I'm just like, hey, bruh, what
Let's
y'all
do this.
doing? Where y'all going? Oh, we're going over.
All
Oh,
right.
y'all sound like I'm about to get some shit. Let me roll with you. And that's kind of what I've been doing because it's like at first it was like record everything, just try to get all the footage and stuff. And it's like, okay, man, you just got all this footage. What are you gonna do? Montages and stuff? Like, how do you create stories around this? And how do you actually, have the whole little, curve, the climax stuff happening, the finish and all that stuff. And so it's like you roll with the units. Try to roll with the unit, try to see everything that's happening with them. And I think then there's just the part of just wanting to make some kind of cinematic stuff, man. Like editing on the
Hmm.
back end, it takes a lot, it's a lot of time, but there is the fun in just kind of watching it too. Like I look back at what was that, the Serious Viking one I made, and that was the first time like that I did comp camp, and I mean even for that video I was surprised. That thing I think hit around like 500 views, which for me is a lot off of just one time me posting
Right.
anything. It's probably the fact that one, I don't really market too much. So I don't really market too much. I'm really not on Facebook that much. And then there's also just I don't know. I think the look and everything else, like, because I was getting a lot of feedback from like, yo, the look was nice. It was entertaining. It was all this stuff, and I was like, yo, that's what I want to do. I want to create those kind of things. I like it because it's the story behind it. It brings you into it, more, and the I don't know, just I like movies. I like cinematic stuff, man. I don't know how to explain it. Just
So, I mean, that gives everyone more of an understanding of like Comcam is more than just a couple of dudes out there with cameras, right? We're trying to evolve and create good content for you guys, give you guys something in the off season or when you can't make it to that particular event, we're going to give you guys that immersion that you're missing, maybe, right? So, I think thanks for explaining a lot of that. Um, I think it'll give you guys more of an understanding of what's going on with Comcam. So, going into the future, what can they expect to come out of Comcam?
so we do have some future projects. We have, well, I guess they'll all be new shows, won't they? Because they haven't been put out yet. So we have a documentary series coming out. That's been about a year in the making. We have Frontline series coming out, Comcam Frontlines. That's gonna be more like immersive story setting into what's happening on the field. And then I'm hearing Percy Jones variety show is in the works. Been collecting a lot of footage for Percy Jones, and so yeah, got
Sounds good, dude. I can't wait to see the variety show. I've heard a little bit about it, so I'm interested in that. So, anyways, hey guys, there you have it. That's what we're doing. In the future, keep your eyes open because we are going to be providing more content beyond what we've been giving you so far. And thanks again for your time. Hell, thanks for joining in. I know we're both busy, but hey, I wanted to get this knocked out. So,
thank
stay
you,
tuned,
Rooster,
guys.
for having me on your show.
Hey,
It's
not a
it's
problem.
it's an honor. It's an honor.
You're the man with the plan.
Now I'll get to edit. I guess I'll get to cutting this up for you right now.
All right.